I recently found out that there's a growing community here on YouTube about building custom mechanical keyboards, and the more videos that I watched about them, the more and more I wanted to build one myself. They're just so satisfying. So naturally, that's what I did. I watched about 1 million videos about how to make one, and then I promptly went online and spent about $600 on various keyboard parts and soldering gear so that I could actually build my own. It sounds crazy, I know, but I am so happy I did it because it was worth every single penny. In this video, I'm gonna take you through the process of how I built the keyboard, and then I'm gonna sit down and chat with fellow YouTuber and mechanical keyboard guru, Hamaji Neo, and he's gonna tell me if my board is good or it's just complete and utter garbage and I should never build a mechanical keyboard ever again. So to build a mechanical keyboard, I needed a lot of different parts. I started with the switches. These are Telios V2 linear switches, and I wanted them to be as smooth as possible, so I first had to pull each of these switches apart and apply lubrication to them. Using a switch opener, I opened up all 84 switches required for the build and separated the top housing, spring, and bottom housing each into separate bins. I put each of the bottom housings into this lubing station I got from KBD fans to make it easier to reassemble the switches after I finished lubing them. Lubing the switches was definitely the most time-consuming step because every part of the switch, minus the top housing, had to be lubed in a different way. I started with the bottom housing and brushed some Krytox 205 grade 0 onto the sides, bottom, and leaf, making sure to spread it evenly and not to add too much lube. Then it was onto the spring. I coated the top and bottom of the spring in lube, this time adding just a little bit more than the bottom housing, and then fit it back into the housing. The last thing to lube is the stem. I held onto the little crucifix with one of these jeweler's tools and used my brush to thinly coat all 4 sides and the bottom of the stem in lube. After putting the stem back onto the top of the spring, I then added one of these desk keys switch films. This helps to reduce stem wobble and it makes the switch produce a more thocky sound, which we definitely want. Finally, all I had to do was fit the top housing back onto the switch like a nice little sandwich, and we're done. Done one of the 84 total switches, that is. I recommend throwing on a show in the background while doing this. Like I said, it's a relaxing process, but it definitely takes some time. Next up is the stabilizers, and the first thing I needed to do was clip off these little legs at the bottom. They dampen the sound and make the stabilizers feel a little bit mushy, and we definitely don't want either of those things. After that, I performed something called the Holy mod, which involves cutting up these tiny little strips of fabric band-aids and then threading them through the stabilizer holes. This gets rid of any stabilizer rattle that may ruin the sound of the switches. Then we bust out the good old lube and coat the stabilizers and the metal bars with it. Now we're getting to the good stuff. Pulling out the PCB, I screwed the stabilizers onto the board using an electric precision screwdriver. This PCB is from KBD fans as well, and I'll put the links to everything I use in this video in the description below. At this point, it's time to start fitting the switches and the metal plate to the PCB. The switches have 2 little pins that fit through the holes in the PCB, and that's where we're gonna add some solder. This was my first time soldering since high school, so it was definitely a little rough at first, but I got the hang of it pretty quickly. Each pin had to be soldered to the contact on the PCB, so there were a total of 168 contacts that needed soldering. Then all I had to do was put the foam into the case, attach the PCB to the case with some screws, stick my keycaps of choice onto the switches, and the keyboard was finished. Voila. The keycaps are called Camillo, and you can get them on Drop or Amazon. They're the MT3 profile, so they're pretty tall keycaps, which I love for typing. This board looks amazing in my opinion with the Tofu 84 case, and the whole thing feels very solid and very premium. It sounds amazing too, and you'll hear it in my sound test when I talk to Hamaji in a minute. Okay, so I was just setting up for a video call I have with Hamaji Neo in a few minutes, and I just had a bit of a brilliant but also kind of evil idea. Inside this bag are my old keycaps from my Keychron K2. What I've done is replaced all the keycaps from the Keychron K2 with these new ones, and I'm gonna try and convince Hamaji that this was the keyboard that I spent the past 3 days building. It sounds terrible. So he's probably gonna realize right away what this is, but if he doesn't realize it, he's gonna do one of 2 things. He's either going to be a nice guy and give me some nice constructive criticism on how to improve my keyboard, or he's gonna absolutely tear me apart for building this absolute garbage keyboard. We'll see what he does. Either way, it's gonna be pretty funny, I think. Just before I jump on this call though, I need to take a quick minute and thank the sponsor of this video, Peak2. This thing I'm holding in my hands is basically an invisible HDMI cable. It's the only 60 gigahertz millimeter wave transceiver on the market, and it is incredibly useful. There's no app of any kind needed, and it's completely plug and play. I use it all the time to connect my laptop to my projector wirelessly. You just plug the HDMI receiver into your projector, plug the transmitter into your laptop with either USB-C or HDMI, and boom, instantaneous 1080p 60Hz signal. This is 1,000,000 times better than doing something like casting your screen over a Wi-Fi signal. There's absolutely no compression, pretty much no setup, and my personal favorite, no latency. It can transmit up to 5 meters or 16 feet for my American friends, and I love it. You can use it with pretty much anything that has a USB-C or HDMI input. Phones, tablets, gaming consoles like the Nintendo Switch, PC and Macs, whatever you want. It'll work with your iPhone too, you just need to buy a lightning connector adapter on their website. This is one of those products that I wasn't sure that I'd use at first, but when I got it, I was sold. You can find it on Amazon via the link below, and if you use this coupon code on screen, you'll get 5% off. Thanks to Peak2 for sponsoring this video, and now let's give Hamaji a call. Hey Hamaji, how's it going, man?
Hi.
So I have a keyboard for you. I never knew how much work building a mechanical keyboard could be with all the soldering and the lubing the switches. Honestly, I think lubing the switches probably was my least favorite part. I know a lot of people say it's really relaxing. I found it relaxing to a degree, but after like the first 10 switches, I was ready for the whole thing to be done. So anyway, I'm going to show you the keyboard. Please try and be nice. Okay, this is my first keyboard.
It's all good. We're very welcoming people.
Awesome, great. So this is the board.
Ooh. Okay. That's pretty. That's really pretty. That's
Thanks.
Really,
I actually really like the keycaps. They're PBT keycaps. Am I saying that right?
Yep.
PBT?
Yeah, that's correct.
What's the best way for you to evaluate this?
Can you tell me what the switches are?
Yeah, sure. They're Gateron. I never know the way. Gateron.
You can say it however you want. Yes. Okay. Reds. Okay. The stabilizers, did it come with the board or do you buy separate stabilizers?
Yep, came with the board.
Came with the board. Do you clip the bottom parts?
Yes.
Okay, all right, sweet. Okay, so it should be fine. I mean, if you followed tutorials and you just took your time with it, I mean, it should sound pretty good.
Okay, sure.
All right, I'm ready. I'm ready for my ears to be blessed. Ooh.
I know you guys like to do the... Don't know why, but...
Do you show me the keyboard while you do that for the modifiers?
Like this?
Yeah, just like tap it for me. I want to see. Like the... Honestly, it sounds pretty solid. I don't...
Yeah,
there's no like big problems. Yeah. I think with time you get better with stabilizers, but like for a first try, like... Yeah. I mean, it only goes up from here, actually. Yeah, it only goes up from here. Just.
So you don't like it. So you don't like it.
No, I mean, like for a first try, like I'm never going to say like, oh, that's bad. Like,
okay, listen, I can't do this anymore. It's too funny. I can't do this anymore. This is not the board I built.
Huh?
This is a bone stock Keychron K2, and I just wanted to see if you're going to be a super nice guy and just tell me that this board was great. This is honestly just, I changed out the keycaps and that was it. I really wanted to see what you'd say. I'm so sorry.
Oh my god, I actually got played.
I shouldn't have kept that going as long as I did.
Holy
dude, you're such a nice guy. I thought you were going to rip me a new one for building this absolute garbage, terrible stabilizer thing.
Am I allowed to swear on your channel?
Go for it, I don't care.
You. Dude, God, man. What is this?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay,
wait, so what's your actual keyboard? Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh.
This is the real keyboard. This case is actually really nice. It's only like 35 bucks on KBD Fans.
Yeah, I reviewed that once. That was hella good.
Oh, did you? I actually love this case.
Oh, I see that. Okay. I can already name some. Oh!
This is the real keyboard. Okay?
Oh, that's heavy too.
Oh, it's super heavy. As soon as I picked this thing up, I was like, are they supposed to be this heavy? This thing is massive. Yeah. Anyway, this is the real keyboard.
I like that. Okay.
So ABS double shot keycaps. These are drop MT3 Camillo keycaps. Lubed Telios V2 switches.
Oh my god. Get on Reds. Why did I believe that?
As soon as I said it, I was like, he's going to get it. Anyway.
Dude, I was like, man, such an honest man. Like, I'm going to try my best.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. Yeah. So GMK stabilizers that have been clipped and wholly modded. What else? Am I missing anything? Well, Tofu. It's a Tofu 84 case, I believe. Now let's do the real typing test.
I'm expecting a nice deep, thocky sound. I'm never going to forget this.
Oh, it's not going to be that good. Jeez, don't hype it up that much.
Oh, that's so much better.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That sounds good, man.
You think?
Yeah, that genuinely sounds good.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That looks like a sick board. Is this a fake board and you have like another fake?
No, I wish, man. I wish, man.
So there's actually a new mod going around, which I think when you first contacted me, I didn't know about. It's called the Tempest Tape mod. So if you want the board to sound even like poppier, you basically just put masking tape below it and it'll just bring it out. I would recommend you try that. And maybe the O-ring mod. I'm not super familiar with it, so you should do your own research on it.
Sure.
But like those two for tofu is like a perfect match, and your board can sound like, I think like maybe $100 more expensive.
Awesome. Maybe I'll give that a shot. Do you have a particular keyboard that you have in mind that you could recommend to someone that doesn't want to go through the whole process of actually building their own mechanical keyboard? Like, is there some off-the-shelf keyboard you recommend?
Oh, off the shelf. Okay, that was a twist.
Yeah, sorry.
I was ready to pull one out. I was like, oh shit. Let me actually go get it. I just found this.
Okay.
So I'm doing a video where I look at some budget boards and then like compare them to expensive boards.
Sure.
Like I think right now in my head, like there's this one.
Oh, that looks good.
This is the Ajaz K620T, and it has a volume knob, Bluetooth, and like the sound. Like it's pretty decent. Like,
that's not bad. Yeah.
And it's hot swap, so you don't have to buy any solder equipment. Yeah,
that's
so
good.
Any beginner can just get like the switch puller and just plunk it out, put it in.
If someone did want to get into this kind of niche hobby, what kinds of parts would you recommend they buy? If like, let's say they're sticking to a budget of like under $200.
Okay, well, first of all, do not. I'm sorry I'm gonna rip into this one.
Go for it.
Try not to go soldered for your first build.
Yep.
Just because if you don't like a switch, you can just take it out and replace them. It's just less of a headache. And I went through that pain. So get lube, some brushes. So that's like maybe $30. Get some masking tape for the tape mod. Yeah, so I mean, if you just get a solid board and then you get like good switches, some lube, some brushes, some tape, and some foam. Like I would say that's all you need. Maybe some plastic clippers for the stabilizers. So stabilizers are also very important because you may not think about it now, but every time you press the space bar to type a sentence, like you're gonna hear like a terrible space bar every time. So you need to fix that ASAP.
Again, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate you coming by. It was fun. I'm sorry for dragging you a little bit.
Dude. Oh my God. That was good.
I'm so happy that worked out. So a huge thanks to Hamaji Neo for being such a great sport about me trolling him. Go ahead and subscribe to his channel. I'll leave a link in the description below. He's a great guy that makes fantastic mechanical keyboard videos, so head on over there and show him some love. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a great day.